Hey, everybody, welcome to Paratruth Radio right here on Blog Talk Radio. My name is Justin.
And I'm Eric.
And tonight is our thank you episode, not only to our Indiegogo campaign contributors, but also to you, our listeners. Without you guys, we would not have a radio show here on Blog Talk Radio.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing an echo.
Are you?
Yeah.
I was hearing one too, and I thought it turned out it was playing on my computer.
I didn't know if it was
and it can't,
Savannah listening.
It's not playing. It shouldn't be. It's not that loud over there, so you should be able to hear that echo.
All right, if it keeps happening, no.
Do you hear the echo now?
No, it's gone.
Oh, maybe it is the computer. All right. Sorry. You can turn it up a little bit. Go ahead and turn it up a little bit. So you can hear it. All right.
Oh.
Just let me know if you hear it again.
Okay. It seems like it's gone now, so whatever volume she's getting on, your microphone's not picking it up now, so.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, now it's doing. Does she have earphones she can put in? Something?
No, I don't. I don't have those. Those don't exist.
They don't exist.
Not in this house. All right. Anyway, I'm surprised this microphone doesn't pick up anything, and now, of course, it's picking up everything.
Well, and you're using a headset, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Because usually mine doesn't either. Okay, so today is the thank you episode for you guys. Like I said, it's not just for the campaign, Indiegogo campaign contributors, but also you, our listeners. You guys we would not be here with a show without our listeners. And so we just wanted to say thank you. Eric?
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the show and contributing to us, or contributing to our show, that we can make it better for you all. Is that good enough?
All right. Yeah. You're good. You're good. All right. So we have a couple of pre-records here tonight because a couple people couldn't make it to be actually on the show. So we will run our friend Jerry. She's been a faithful listener since we started. So she also did contribute to both of our Indiegogo campaigns. So Jerry, I do want to say thank you personally. If you're once you listen to the archive, thank you so much for doing that. Always being a great listener. We do also have signed poster coming to you as soon as it reaches Eric to autograph it, and then I will get it autographed and get it out to you as well. All right, and then here is her audio.
Hi guys, how are you? I just wanted to shout out to you, let you know you guys are doing an excellent job with Paratruth Radio. It's refreshing, enlightening, and sometimes frightening, your stories effect on your listeners such as myself, and it's really good to be alert to the paranormal world around us, especially to the strange creatures and such that are talked about on the news as well as in antiquity and such. You asked if there was any advice or suggestions. I would say maybe the only thing that I could suggest to add a little bit of diversity to your show besides paranormal creatures is paranormal creatures and conspiracy theory together. I am part of a Christian conspiracy theory group on Facebook, and there's several different forums where there's hundreds of people who are posting and reading different videos and websites pertaining to the paranormal as it pertains to conspiracy theory. Like, for example, I had read and watched that there are different scientists that have gone missing because they have photographed or videotaped footage of cloning centers where there are people being cloned, also hybrid creatures where they're half animal and half human and such. So there are credible scientists that have come forward with this information, and unfortunately they've gone missing because the powers that be, whether it's the Illuminati or the government or both, want to silence these individuals so that this information doesn't leak out. Also, the latest in the news is that March 13th, last Friday the 13th, in fact, CERN, the European Physicist Research Organization, had fired up their Hadron Collider, and supposedly they're trying to open up gateways to interdimensional creatures and beings and such. They're trying to look for gods, and supposedly this Hadron Collider is supposed to enable them to do that. So as we know, nothing happened. The abyss didn't open up to strange creatures. However, they're going to try it again within the very near future, and who knows, maybe it did open a portal and we're just not aware of it, to interdimensional creatures and such. You might want to type in conspiracy theory creatures and see what comes up, and maybe you might want to talk about those topics in the future. Anyhow, you guys are doing a great job. I love your research and investigation, discussion and debate, and your sense of humor. Anyway, doing a great job. God bless you guys. You're in my prayers.
All right, folks, that was Jerry. Like I said, she's been a follower and listener of the show since the very beginning. She also contributed to both of our Indiegogo campaigns. So, again, Jerry, thank you so much for that. Your contributions did not go without warrant. We do finally have our website up and running. Hopefully within the next couple weeks, we will be able to start broadcasting from our website, and it will just be from paratruthradio.com instead of blogtalkradio.com/paratruthradio.
Should make it a lot easier for any of our listeners, and there's a lot less hoops to jump through to get to our show then.
Well, yeah. Well, like, there will be, hopefully, with great planning, maybe we'll have a Paratruth Radio app, and you guys can listen to it that way, as well as
also
the website. So it'll be a lot more venues for people to catch us. And a lot of times with Blog Talk Radio, it's kind of hard to listen to the show just because if you're trying to listen to it on a smartphone, if you're using the browser, it's kind of hard to do that just because not all of the browsers on cell phones have Flash. So it's usually easier to call in, which if you guys want to call in while we're doing our thank you show, I forgot to even mention this. The phone number here is 914-205-5558. You can also get onto our Facebook page and our Twitter page, and you can catch all of our stuff that way as well. And if you're listening in on a computer, you can scroll down to the bottom of the screen there and hop in our chat room and give us a shout out there as well.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we're not knocking Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, no. We wouldn't have it.
It sounds like we do that.
Yeah.
But, there'd be no show without Blog Talk Radio. And I know we've discussed this in the past or mentioned it. I mean, this isn't our first show on Blog Talk Radio either. We had one back in 2008. So, we had our start years ago on Blog Talk Radio before moving over to CBS. And then eventually going back to Blog Talk Radio because certain people in certain stations on CBS weren't very nice.
Night Stalkers was definitely not what Truth Radio is by any means, and even Parasite Radio and Forgotten Truth Radio is not what Paratruth Radio was, even though it's got both elements It's not
Right.
exactly the same.
Right.
Neither of us had a co-host
please-
on either of those shows
Right.
and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. Before we move on, I don't know what your next plans are for moving on in the show here, but I do want to comment on something that Jerry had mentioned. But it's actually kind of interesting. It's something I've talked about at work quite a bit, and it's the conspiracy as to, and I know we don't do big on conspiracies, but in this case, it's pretty interesting. But based on genetically mutated animals, especially within Area 51.
Yeah.
It's something very interesting, but I have a buddy who's in the military, or used to be in the military, he's in the Army, and he's heard quite a bit of stories when he was in the military, in particular about red-eyed dogs, and a number of different dogs that had gotten out in that area, and he had some buddies that were in that area when it happened, and they were, and of course I'm not going to disclose where Area 51 is or where this area was, but there was a not a flyer, but like an alert that was put out to everyone within the camp, and then everyone throughout the city as well, that if they were to see any animals that had glowing red eyes or glowing yellow eyes, like literally glowing, not in regards to light reflection, but literally glowing, that they were to, if they had a weapon, a gun in particular, that they were to put it down immediately, otherwise to stay away from the creature at all costs possible, which is very interesting. I don't know exactly how true that is. It does, like I said, it is a story that comes from military background, but you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, our government by no means is innocent when it comes to a lot of things. Genetic.
But you know what's interesting? I'm
What's
sorry,
that?
I cut you off again.
No,
I do it a lot.
that's okay.
The other day, I don't know how old this was, but on Jimmy Kimmel Live, I saw this on Facebook. There is a clip of Jimmy and Barack Obama. And of course, Jimmy Kimmel has to bring up the greatest question ever, which is, there's a book that stores all the information about Area 51 and what goes on there. And of course, the question is, have you looked into that book? And can you tell us what's really going on? Are there aliens, so on and so forth? And of course, Barack Obama froze up a little bit because he didn't quite know how to answer that question. And he was like, I did look into it, and there's nothing in there. And Jimmy started laughing, and then Barack Obama was like, of course, that's what we're told to say. So I was like, interesting. That's very interesting. Of course, you know, that's the big thing I think everyone's curious about, this whole Area 51 thing. It's such a big deal. And if you even look at it on Google Maps or on Google Earth, it's completely blocked out. There's a big giant red, block over where Area 51 is, or should be, since it was relocated back when it was near Roswell area. But
well, the Roswell Area 51, actually, the whole, at least this is what I've heard, the whole extraterrestrial and UFO research has been actually transferred to the Aerial Museum in Ohio.
Right. Well, after the Roswell incident, there was a so-called UFO that was taken from Roswell up to the Dayton, Ohio Air Force Base, where it's currently in a hangar, and there are 2 guards outside of that hangar at all times ever since that day. No one's allowed to go in or ever out without, access cards, basically.
Right. All right. Well, and one thing too, yes, I believe that our government could possibly be doing genetic manipulation on either people or animals. That I have no question. Is it a probability? Is it a conspiracy theory? Sure, but I wouldn't doubt that somewhere in our government or even outside of our government where there's some type of genetic stuff going on. Also, too, not that your friend was brainwashed, but a lot of our troops have been brainwashed and then memories erased or just made to forget, whatever you want to call it, things that they've seen. Is that true? No. Again, it's a conspiracy theory. But all of that has been put out there, throughout shows that both you and I have done, as well as when I was doing mine separately. I don't know if you really concentrated on conspiracy theories with Forgotten Truth. I don't think you did, right?
Only when it came to Roswell, with the 1947 Roswell book
by talk to
Jesse Marcel Jr.
Yeah. All right. I think we will run your mom's audio really fast, and then, well, not really fast, but it is a fast clip. And then we'll go to Eric's random fact of the day just after that. All right, folks. This is Debbie Skirback, Eric's mom, my aunt. She also did contribute to the show, so here's that clip as well. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Aunt Debbie.
Hi,
we
Mom.
just wanted to call.
Hi.
We just wanted to call and say thank you for adding to our Indiegogo campaign.
You're welcome.
And we don't want to put you on the spot, but we want to say thank you for doing it because it did help very much so.
Oh, good. I enjoy listening to your show.
Well, we're trying to make it better, so that's where those funds are going.
Oh, good.
All right.
Okay.
We won't keep you.
All right. Thank you.
And if you guys couldn't tell, that was a very uncomfortable phone call for everybody.
She's really nervous to do that.
All right, folks. We're going to take our first break here. We're going to have Eric Random Fact of the Day, as well as a quick commercial, and we will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, sublimely elegant here as always, and you are listening to Paratruth Radio.
Now, Eric's Random Fact of the Day.
We have all heard of the 10 plagues of Egypt, as it is written in the Bible. However, the 8th plague, the plague of locusts, is probably the least fearsome of them all, especially for the people of America. However, did you know that a desert locust swarm can be 460 square miles in size? Believe it or not, this size swarm is capable of eating 423 million pounds of plants in a single day, which would easily send a country into deep famine.
This is the news. This morning, we are saluting the 2.2 million women who have joined in the war effort. They now make up 37% of the workforce, changing their role forever.
The prestigious Harvard Medical School is breaking ground today, opening its doors to new female applicants.
Today, little girls all over the world look to the sky, where the first woman is now in space.
Military stereotypes are challenged today with the trailblazing promotion of a U.S. female officer to 4-star general. It was just announced that the vast majority of last year's doctorate degrees were earned by women.
We've come so far, but our news is changing for the worse. More women die from heart disease and stroke than men, even though it can be prevented. Make a change at GoRedForWomen.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women.
This is Bill Hall, author of the book, The World's Most Haunted House, and you're listening to Paratruth Radio.
All right, folks, welcome back to Paratruth Radio. My name is Justin.
And I'm Eric.
And we are doing our thank you and gratitude episode for not only our Indiegogo campaign provider or contributors, as well as our listeners. You guys are awesome, and we would not have a show without you. And we would not be moving on to get on to the paratruthradio.com. And where was I going with that? Oh, and
I don't know.
broadcasting off of that venue instead of right here on Blog Talk Radio, it'll be a little bit easier to tell everybody go to paratruthradio.com to listen.
Mm-hmm. Before we move on, I got a little something to share. You might actually know this already. This is a rabbit trail. We haven't really. Well, we've had one rabbit trail so far. So this is the second rabbit trail. I don't know if you saw this on Facebook or not, or wherever media, but it's been announced for all of the paranormal people out there, and horror folks in particular, those who love horror films, and Friday the 13th. Jason Voorhees has been submitted into Mortal Kombat 10. He is now a playable character in the new game coming out soon.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I saw a trailer on it, and of course, they got the and he comes up out of the dark, and it just says Mortal Kombat 10. Like, yes.
Well, Freddy Krueger was in the last one, so.
See, now they just need to get Freddy in this one too, and then we got a good Jason versus Freddy, not a crappy one.
Fatalities and all.
Yeah. Which is interesting. How does that work if Jason doesn't die?
And what would the fatalities be? Because I've never played as Freddy in the last one, so what was his fatality be?
Exactly. And as Freddy, I mean, you have to be in a dream world of some sort, obviously. Right. So it doesn't make sense. I can't fathom it. Continue on before my head explodes.
All right. Well, just to bring up some of the episodes that we've had. We've had
all aboard the Chupa 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 Chupacabra train.
And we've had
the Mongolian Death Word.
Just to name a few.
No, we need to do more of those.
Yeah, those are the only 3 clips I've got. So next,
I should have made a clip for this one with like fireworks and stuff.
Well, there is this, which isn't you, and this.
Right.
Don't you dare touch me! Stand back! No!
Oh, all right. Well, I think we will get my mom on. She's been trying to call, and hanging up, and I will call her right now. What's so funny?
I'm watching the reaction of Diana back here as she's listening to the show.
Oh, come on. No. Okay, well, Mom, if you're listening, call back in so we can keep on.
Oh.
Okay, so while we're waiting for her to call, we do got a very interesting paranormal headline for you guys, which we'll discuss after I play it. I did want to mention, too, we do have the giveaway going on still with the autographed Paratruth Radio T-shirt. There she is. All right. We'll get one. Hey, Mom.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's been a
Well, we just wanted to say thank you for contributing. And we did get paratruthradio.com up with the funds, so we just wanted to say thank you and ask if there's anything that you can think of that would improve the show.
No, Norm, can you think of anything that would improve the show? No. You said, yeah, put him on it.
I think that'll scare all of our listeners away.
We already know the good looks thing is covered, so we don't have to worry about that.
Wait, us or by Norm?
No, us. At least me, I mean.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But you're very welcome, and I wish I could have done more, but you know.
That's all right. Every little penny counts. So.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.
Love you too.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
All right, folks. That was my mom, Lori Roan. Erin, who is Eric's sister, Erin Skurback, could not join us tonight, so we just wanted to say thank you to her as well. Thank you, Erin. So, like I said, we did get enough contributions to at least get paratruthradio.com up. If you guys have a chance, shoot on over and check that out. And
yeah, I was gonna say, because before we took the phone call there, we were talking about the giveaway that's still live. It's hot right now.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to go ahead and throw that question out there again?
Yeah, go ahead, give them the question. Give them the one hint, and then if you have another one, great. If not, then the one will work.
Well, if I remember the first hint, I'll say that one, and then I'll come back later in the episode if we don't get anything and give the second hint.
Okay.
But the question, in order to win it's just what is it? T-shirt, right?
Yeah, an autographed Paratruth Radio T-shirt.
Autographed. Okay, that's what I can't remember if it's autographed or not. Autographed. Yeah. An autographed Paratruth T-shirt, which means it's one of a kind because we haven't autographed any T-shirts yet. Which means one day it can be worth millions of dollars.
Yep.
Not because they're famous,
me and
because
Eric
they're
don't
awesome
even have
and the coolest guys on radio.
T-shirt either.
You don't even have Paratruth Radio T-shirts, so you'll be like the second one with a Paratruth Radio T-shirt, but the only one that has it signed.
Right.
But with that said, if that tickles your fancy at all and you're interested in it, the question that you have to answer in order to win the autographed T-shirt is, what is the first account of demonic oppression in the Holy Bible? Again, what is the first account of demonic oppression in the Holy Bible? And the first clue that I gave, I don't remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, is the same clue I'm going to give you now. And the clue is that you can find it in the Old Testament. You can find it in the Old Testament. You're going to have to do some research unless you already know the Bible pretty darn well. But you can find it. It's pretty simple to find if you type it into Google and look for it. But yeah,
now,
that's the first clue.
Did you want them to call in this time? Do you want them to still go to our Facebook page?
I'll tell you what, since we're on air right now, you can call in. If you're not comfortable calling in, you can throw it in chat. And if you don't happen to have any access to our chat, then go ahead to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Paratruth Radio and type in your answer right there. All you need to do is type in the name of the book and the chapter and the verses that the answer is found in.
So just in case, I mean, most people should know, but just in case they don't know how to type it in for book and verse, like just give an example of a book and verse.
All right, so an example, let's just say Matthew chapter 4, 1 through 5. You would simply you could type in the whole name, Matthew, or type in M-A-T-T, period, then put in the chapter number, which would be 4, put a colon sign, and type in 1 to 7. and that would be the name of the book, the chapter of the book, and then the verses.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be completely accurate, so put it in any way you know how. If you want to type out like book, the name of the book, chapter, whatever number chapter, and then verses, you can do that too. But,
okay. Well, for most Christians, they know how to type it in, but for somebody who isn't versed in the Bible,
right. And I'll tell you what, like, we're gonna keep going here. If you can at least find what book it's in, I think we could give it to you then. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that because it's been a while. So if you can at least give us the name of the book that it's in, and you don't have the chapter and verse, I think that's fine. We'll let it slide. So.
All right, and then we'll take a quick break here, and we'll give you guys the paranormal headline. It's a little bit of a lengthier one, so it'll give me and Eric a chance to rest our voices, as well as give you guys a chance to call in to give that an answer, 914-205-5558. Again, you can type it in our chat room, and we are watching the chat room, as well as I'm watching our Facebook page, so if you get on the Facebook page, you can type it in there and I'll see it. All right, let me find it. Okay. All right, folks, this is your paranormal headline and a quick commercial, and we will be right back.
And now, Paratruth Radio's paranormal headlines.
Justin here with your paranormal headlines. Disneyland's Haunted Mansion may be haunted after all. Video shows ghosts roaming park at night. This is an article from altereddimensions.net. Disneyland surveillance footage has captured something more than the usual happy visitors frolicking through the park. As the footage suggests, a mysterious ghostly entity walks around the park at night, crossing grass, sidewalks, and passing unhindered through the closed gates. In one instance, the ghostly figure can even be seen walking across a park lake's water. The video was shot in 2009 and resurfaced this week. In the video, a grim ghost can be seen moving at a steady pace around Disneyland's Haunted Mansion and Rivers of America areas of the park. The video shows a closed park at night, empty with no visitors to hinder the ghost's exploration of the happiest place on Earth. The natural first assessment would suggest the video contains image remnants from a reused VHS surveillance tape, but some have pointed out that Disneyland no longer uses VHS-based security systems. Also, the ghostly apparition appears to follow park sidewalks and even breaks into a run at the precise moment it reaches the edge of the lake water.
This was a segment of Paratruth Radio's paranormal headlines.
This is David Montaigne, author of End Times in 2019, and you are listening to Paratruth Radio.
All right, folks, welcome back to Paratruth Radio. My name is Justin.
And I'm Eric.
And you are listening to our thank you and gratitude episode. As I said earlier, it's not just for our Indiegogo campaign contributors, but also you, our listeners. We would not have a show without you guys. So for that, we are truly grateful. We do this show every week only because we have listeners. We did start out with just saying we would do the show just because we like it, but without listeners, what's the point of having a show?
No, I think pretty much anyone in radio starts off saying, we're just doing this for the heck of it. And then it turns into a business, and then it turns into, who knows what. But I think it's pretty interesting. Like, no matter what you do, pretty much in the entertainment industry, whether it's radio, television, music, whatever it is, eventually, as you start moving up and you get more people, listening in or watching or, paying for your gigs and so on and so forth, eventually it turns into something more and you end up, it turns into a business, which is a good thing in one sense, but it can also be a bad thing because sometimes that business takes you away from the original, from the originality of what it really is, especially when it comes to, like, if you think of musicians, for example, how many musicians I've heard at the church or in a coffee shop, who just play to play, and they just enjoy it. But then you hear of other people in the industry who started off that way too, and now they're no longer writing their own music. They have someone else writing their music. They become something different. They're no longer the blues players they once were. They somehow become pop sensation. It's like, I wish I could go back to the roots, the way it used to be.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that that's what showbiz does to you. It can change you completely, but I think there are some entertainers out there that have held on to where they came from, and they remember that on a daily basis, and they still play the music the way that they, used to. And I think that's one thing for me in particular when it comes to Christian. I don't know too many other musicians, but Christian musicians in particular, a lot of them write their own music still. They don't have anyone typically under them,
right?
That provide them with the lyrics. It all comes from the heart.
Right. Well, and I mean, we were with Para X, and I went on to Fate Radio that became Shark Radio, and you stayed with Para X. And I think one thing that neither of us ever did was strayed from who we really are.
Right. We cleaned up quite a bit of things. So we shared a little bit.
This show is way cleaner than our early days on Night Stalkers. I mean, when we went to Para X is when we had to start cleaning it up because they broadcast to a much higher range of listeners than what we were getting. And type of listeners. I mean, there was anywhere from teenagers listening to, 60, 70-year-old people listening. So to get that experience and just understand that, yes, you can have fun with the show and still keep it respectable.
I remember our first promo episode that we did for Para X.
Yeah. And
we were in your room and we had to promote it. We had to do a little tester, if you will. And we got yelled at during the tester because of the things you were saying. Like, that can't be said on,
because of something that happened on Blog Talk Radio that I brought up.
I could. That was like episode 3 or 4, I think, on Blog Talk, or on Blog Talk Radio when we first started.
Right.
That particular thing that you brought up came up. Episode 6, I think, is still by far one of the most interesting that we had, though. For Night Stalkers.
Yeah, we still haven't decided if we'll have him on Paratruth. It would be an interesting show, but at the same time, it's kind of a weird one from. I mean, even for like the Christian standpoint of it on your side, like this guy flip-flopped and whatever, and it's hard to bring somebody on who would kind of contradict your side of things, but at the same time, it might make good ratings.
It would make good ratings. But then you have to think, like, where are you standing? Are you standing on the ratings aspect of it, or are you standing on, where we came from. You know, like, do we want to jeopardize all that we worked for just for ratings? And I know for both of us, the answer is no.
No.
But in regards to where he came from and to where he is now, where he's mixing Christianity with an occult practice, if you will, I mean, I don't stand behind that at all. I don't even want to talk to anyone who does that. Unless there's a good reason to do so, like for me to talk to them about it or discuss it.
Right, yeah.
But like I said, that can set up serious arguments where we've been in the past.
Right.
Where I was with like mediums and stuff in the past, which is, of no fault of mine, of course, because obviously it was all my fault. But that was when I was first born and.
Well, I mean, you were excited about your faith again. I mean, does anybody fault you for it? No. Could it have been addressed a little bit differently? Sure. But, I mean, like, you were excited about having your faith back, and, I mean, you still are very much so, excited about having your faith and being having that part of your life back. So, to bring it into the show is obviously just being who you are.
Right.
And for some of you guys that have been listening like nonstop, again, thank you. But we do have to mention a couple of the clips that I usually play is some of our guests that we've had on, such as Bill Hall, David Montaigne, and we had my friend Sublime Elegant on as a guest co-host on our werewolf episode. So I want to thank them for being on the show as well. And it's been a crazy, what episode are we on? 34? And quickly approaching a year. And before we discuss the paranormal headlines, because we are getting at 15 minutes here, I do have to thank my girlfriend, Shelly, who encouraged me to talk to you about getting the show started again. She also acted as a producer for the show for several episodes until we got on a roll here.
Which, speaking of, I mean, it's nice and all for you to thank her, but why isn't she on the show right now? I don't think she's been on yet. And I think it'd be better to thank her if she actually called in or was on that show with us.
Yeah,
That's not going to happen, is it?
I meant to ask her, and I don't want to put her on the spot, but Shelly, if you want to be on the show, text me really fast. If not, that's okay. And then, all right, to talk a little bit about the paranormal headline, I put the YouTube video into our chat room. It's actually one that I saw a while ago, but it was on altereddimensions.net, so it was actually worth mentioning. Supposedly there's this footage of a ghost roaming Disneyland, and it's around the Haunted Mansion, as you guys heard in the paranormal headlines. What are your thoughts on it? Like, is it easily hoaxable?
I think it is, especially if you have some kind of education within the film aspect. We're saying a lot. But in regards, like, if you have a pretty strong education or even a decent education in film or in any type of entertainment that has to deal with making videos, I think it's very plausible that that type of video can be faked. What's interesting about it, and I know this is something you might disagree with me on, is the way it mimics the lamps around it. When you look at all the street lamps, it has shows lens flares. You can see a light shooting up to the sky, and you can see a light shooting down. It's what we call pretty much like kind of like starlight type of thing.
Okay.
Where, if you were to look at a light outside through your window, or if you were to squint while looking at a light, it'll create these weird flares that go out to the right, or the left and right, and stuff like that. Well, that's what's happening in this video, and the same exact thing is happening with this so-called spirit that's walking across this plane in which the film is shooting, or the cameras are shooting towards, which is very interesting because I've never once in my entire life, and with all the years that you and I have been doing this and been debunking stuff, have I ever seen any type of spirit, if you will, create a light source like that.
Yeah.
I mean, even like there's been some pretty significant video evidence and photo evidence, in particular, of orbs that have been more or less classified as spiritual activities that don't even do that, and those are much brighter. So it's kind of weird, and this is almost too flawless to have that perfect of a image of a human walking through, everything like that. It's just, I don't know. It's too clear. It's almost too perfect. So.
And I don't know if I believe that it's a spirit. I mean, there has been numerous footage of different things happening when a spirit is caught on camera, like what we went over last episode, which was the shadow people. There have been, I guess you can call them faces caught on pictures, as well as shapes, or even, I don't know how true they are, but there are pictures of almost fully formed bodies. There's a picture of a torso hanging upside down in somebody's family picture, but the body wasn't actually hanging there when they took the picture, or supposedly it wasn't.
Right.
Can it be faked? Yeah, absolutely, it can be faked. I don't know how. Like, I don't know much about the film industry as much as you do, so I go by your word as to how it could be faked. But I've never seen it, like some of that phenomenon that it was doing, as you said, like, you can clearly see something moving, but what would, like, other than just messing with the digital film, like, could somebody have covered themselves in a green outfit, done a green screen shot, and then replayed that?
Well, yeah, sure, that could easily be done. If you use green screen, or even if they're wearing a green suit, for example, in which you can then replace the image with something else, or something digitally created. The only thing that's interesting would be the moment in which this anomaly walks through to close the gates. I think a lot of people, especially those of our parafans out there, might believe that that particular instance in which the so-called spirit walks through the gate is enough evidence to prove that it's something real. However, if you look at, there's a couple of different things. One, if you think of the Parent Trap, that was made back in the 90s with Lindsay Lohan. I know it sounds funny, but Lindsay Lohan doesn't have a twin, and yet they created her. They do the same thing they do the same thing on Liv and Maddie on the Disney Channel. They create two different images and they splice them together, so they're actually two different shots. So the person's actually working twice as hard. But you never see the moment in which, like, if there's a cut in the center of the screen usually, that's spliced together. So if that character were to walk across the screen, they would just disappear. So that's just one example of being able to take an image from one place and place it in another. The other thing is all of the Paranormal Activity movies. The first one in particular, how many things have moved? How did they create the footsteps on the floor without actually showing anyone create them? How did they pull the girl off the bed without anyone being there to grab her? How did they make the sheets move? So on and so forth. It's all using green screen type of stuff, or green suits, where they're able to create an image by digitally removing the person and showing the background, such as the doors and the walls and so on and so forth. So it's very possible to make something invisible, and it's just as possible to make a light anomaly such as this. So I think it is very easily reputable, recreatable. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for there, but it can easily be recreated and created. Shut up. It's not funny. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's how they could probably have created the whole image of running through the gate. Like, they're not even at Disneyland, and they're just using that imagery and then putting themselves in a green suit and making like a green screen type image, and they're running, and they run what would seem like run through the gate, but they're actually just running in normal life, and they have the green suit on. So
yeah,
is it creatable or recreatable, as you said? Sure, yeah. The way that you watch when you watch the video, you can honestly see whoever it is or whatever it is walking and running on the paths, and it runs through the gate, all that good stuff. And I don't know. I mean, to say that it's not possible would be kind of limiting my mind frame, but at the same time, it's way too perfect to not have been hoaxed.
Yeah.
I do have a text message to read on air from Shelley. She didn't want to actually be on the show, which is fine, because we could say the same thing about Aaron, but at the same time, supposedly she had to work. So, so this is from Shelley. Your show is the highlight of my week. Without you two, there wouldn't be yummy sacrifices for the week for her and I. Keep the interesting topics coming.
Oh, Shelley, I feel all warm and fuzzy inside now. And you know she's thinking right now, you're a jerk.
All right. Well, we haven't had an answer yet to the question, so why don't you throw that out really fast, and then we'll also give you a chance to plug your new up-and-coming short film.
All right. So the question for the autographed Paratruth T-shirt is, what is the first account of demonic oppression in the Holy Bible? Again, what is the first account of demonic oppression in the Holy Bible? You can find it in the Old Testament. That's the first hint. I'll give a second hint, and it's still going to be a pretty hard, difficult hint. It comes after Exodus.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes after Exodus. And again, obviously we're out of time pretty much, so you cannot call in anymore, and unless you can write it into chat within the next 3 minutes. Your only option is to type it into our Facebook page, which is again at facebook.com/ParatruthRadio.
All right, and then go ahead and plug this awesome new short film coming up.
Yeah, the short film, as you have all heard, especially last week, but over the past few weeks, a short film called The Revealed. It's a film that really goes in and questions, or even uplifts, I guess, the debate between, are we alone in the universe? You know, what is real, what isn't real? Are aliens among us, or is it something else? There's been a lot of stories and discussion, not only in the paranormal community, but just in television and social media in general, where people claim to have been abducted by aliens. But the question is, are they really extraterrestrials as we believe them to be? Are they green Martians with giant eyes, or is it something else, perhaps on a more spiritual nature? And the only way to find out the answer to that particular question is to look forward to my film, The Revealed, which is going to start production in fall of 2015. It is a sci-fi horror drama, so it's not a documentary, as you may think it is. It's not. It's actually sci-fi horror drama. It's got some pretty good jump scares in it. Just interested in being on the edge of your seat the whole time. I think this will do it. So if you can, please like my Facebook page. That's at facebook.com/The Revealed Movie. Like it, share it, And stay tuned, because I'm going to be posting more stuff on Facebook, and of course there'll be more things coming here as well as we continue on in the weeks of doing this radio show. So, yeah.
And like I said to you guys last week, I was privileged to read the script on this. It's going to be an amazing movie. As I said last week, I could see the movie in my mind's eye without even actually watching it on a screen. So it's definitely going to be an awesome movie, and I really cannot wait for it to be released.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Next week, I forgot to get my list out. I believe it's
shame on you.
J. Gordon Melton, author of Melton.
The vampire.
Encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia. J. Gordon Melton.
And I believe you have on once before, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's a great guest to have on. So anyone tuning in next week will really enjoy that episode, especially if you like vampires.
Yeah, and we have done a vampire episode, so it'll be interesting to throw some questions his way to get a little bit more info on the legends and what have you. So, All right, folks, we will talk to you guys next week with our guest, J. Gordon Melton. I'm Justin.
And I'm Eric.
And we will talk to you guys next week. Later.
Peace.